The next morning, we spend another 3 hours on the freeway to get to Nikko. Lucky for you, the cameraman slept through most of this trip. Once again, you need to know the roads to find Nikko Circuit, which is wedged between the freeway and the mountains. This is a TK club meeting, with plenty of cars entered in the drift sessions, including Shino and her boyfriend, who had a big tyre blowout in his AE86. For some reason, our entry was never received, but luckily with some smooth talking from Shino, we are allowed to enter our Skyline too. If you don't have a family stamp, you can just get away with a fingerprint on the entry form. Note the pudgy gaijin prints. There's still one more spanner jammed in the works though. The hose we used to block off the high cast burst on the way to the track, dumping all of our power steering fluid. Ben and Darren managed to use a hose from another part of the power steering system though, so we're able to refill the fluid while Shino works the bubbles out of the system. Everything seems okay, so we fit a nice fresh glove and Darren heads out onto the track. Note the tape on the taillights to minimise mess in an accident. Darren gets straight into it, but the colder Zenith front tyres are understeering a bit. There's not a lot of power to play with either, so he has to kick the clutch a lot. After a frustrating second lap, Darren goes for a big entry on the first corner, and disaster strikes. The old RB20 gearbox just couldn't handle the brutal Nismo twin plate, smashing the teeth off third gear. Just 2 laps into our drift adventure, it's all over for the R32. We've lost third, fourth and reverse, but first, second and fifth still work okay. So at least we can still limp it back to Tokyo. Rather than going straight home though, let's go for a ride with Shino in her S14, which shows some signs of her trip to Australia. Despite the flared guards, the engine is almost stock, so Shino relies on pure technique to get the car drifting. Okay, we're in Nikko Circuit. He's in Tochigi Prefecture in Japan. We're going with Shino, who's driving the car. This is my first time on the track. I've seen a lot of videos, and she's right into it. It's a really tight corner, a very high curve. Shino's just jumping over like it's nothing. There's a long sweeper under the back straight. Sharply. It can catch you if you're not careful. Just like that. The Sprinter, that's Shino's boyfriend. Yeah. I think the tyres are starting to give way. How goes this? Tandem drifting with your girlfriend. Just hit the curb there and threw up a bunch of sparks. Yeah, I knew he wasn't going to hit, yeah. I'm cool. Imagine how many tyres she'd use if the car had some power. Later we noticed that D1 driver Fukuda is at the track too, driving a friend's light-tuned 180SX. It's a far cry from his D1 car, but we figure it's still worth going for a ride.
Alexi Smith. どうもです。福田です。自分の黄色いのを持ってくればよかったですね。自分の車を持ってくればよかったですね。これ遅いですね。
カメラマン。
カメラマン。じゃあちょこっと。
でもいや俺はもう日本語は上手じゃない。
あ、そうです。OK です。
D1 ビデオ。見て。
はい。
毎日。
福
田さん知ってるよ。俺の車は180。
あ、180。オーストラリア。
preserving the car, Fukuda lets it cool down on the back straight instead of drifting the whole track. He then grips on the last two corners to get more speed onto the straight. Watch how he only changes into third for a moment, then uses second all through the next section. It's a surprise to see Fukuda run off the track, but he was put off by the car in front. Notice how he just barely touches the ripple strips, helping keep the line smooth and the car balanced. One indication of how much faster Fukuda drives is the smoke pouring off the brakes.